the window. Okay, let's quickly do Sandra. Aspiring environment artist. Okay, so I'll give you so what Sandra is doing differently than Ruslan. Hopefully, when I'm doing these examples, people don't feel offended. It's very important that you have the nice attitude of taking the critique, and that I'm using you guys as an example to not just help you, but also other people. All right. So what she's doing correctly, she's saying she wants to be an aspiring environment artist. So when I'm looking at her pieces, I wouldn't necessarily go uh, picking too much on the lighting, but regardless of your role, and I say that to all my students who are even environment artists, it's not just lighting artists that comes to learn from me, is if you want to stand out in your role as an environment artist, you definitely need to learn lighting. It will elevate your pieces, and it will stand out other people. You'll stand out a little bit. So when you do these kind of environments, don't be afraid. I know you're showing your environment. What's up with this? This looks like the materials are a bit off here. It looks a super. Yeah, it just looks odd. But I'm not gonna. This is super. This you need to avoid. You see this hotspot. You have to be very, very careful when you do your work to not reveal the hotspots, because obviously I can see and I already know that there's a light coming in one direction, right? So you definitely want to avoid that, and you want to have a background too, because if you have a black background, it ruins the image and it flattens the image more. So you want some kind of relevant color for your background as well. Otherwise, you end up in a situation where it doesn't actually work in your favor, which you might think it works in your favor, but it doesn't. Let me just try and go to the screen in secret and just prepare some of the scenes here, because I would just want to show you as well an example. Actually, we'll do it on one of the other pieces first. So many windows. Whoever was gonna post another portfolio review thing, just tag me on Discord, and I'll try and get to you. Okay, thank you. Wow, doing this alone, man, and one screen, I swear, it's quite tedious. At the locker room, so a recap on this one here. I won't show example at the moment, but you definitely shouldn't be afraid to add some rim light or some extra highlights to your lights to kind of elevate your piece. I might make some tutorials for that. Actually, if you give me your 3D model, Sandra, I'll be happy to just do some quick work for YouTube and show you how I would light it very quickly. You definitely also want to avoid hotspot. That's the recap I'm saying. And if you're going to have a bright light like this, it would make sense to have some light coming out if needed. But again, the time of day is unclear because you don't have a sky. You can tell by direction, obviously, and you have a lot of warm tone going on. So that's something called what I call when you have materials that are very brown, at least from the point of a lighting artist. You have materials that are warm. You have like a warm roof. You have warm everything, and then you put also warm light. It will flatten the image a little bit. So that's why if you had a blue sky, for example, in the background, it would make it pop more, right? And then you could actually add another light to kind of get that blue fill light in, right? Right now it's very warm. Does that make sense? I don't know if I can actually edit it successfully, I'll be honest. I'm not a Photoshop expert, but I'll give it a try. I'll give it a try for you guys, okay? Let me just do this, and then I go over to the other one. I'm so sorry. My TV broke, and so I'm just living with one screen, so we're just gonna have to go back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so let's see. Can I do this easily? So could I go for maybe, let's see. I don't know which color I should go. So you have a kind of a stylized still, so maybe we could go for. I'm gonna see if I can just cheat and do this. Well, that kind of worked. I have to do mask and everything. That's so annoying. Don't want to overcomplicate everything. Where's that thing? There's a thing, right? There's a thing somewhere. Is it this one? Let's try the magic wand. Oh no. have to. Okay, let's see if I can do it. Oh, okay. All right, no problem. We'll do it the old school way. Okay, the old school works because again, we're just gonna show you a general example of it. So I have something selected somewhere. Okay, does this work? Still selected. Go away. Okay, it's good. We're good. Okay, that's too dark because of the opacity. Just do this. So just want to give a quick example of what happens when you have another color on top of another color. This is very important for any artist, even us lighting artists. Obviously, we are a bit Nazi on it, I would say. Probably not a good word to say on YouTube, but actually, what I should have done, should have just done this, shouldn't I? Like if I just did this and this. Okay. I'll just do this. And then I'll do it. I'll just do a little bit like this. And then I'll just do this. I want it a bit bigger. There you go. This is me being lazy. I probably should have just done the mouse, shouldn't I? I would have been done by now if I just did it properly. Okay, so the point here is you need some background, because if you have a background, you can do some cool stuff, right? It changes, it elevates your piece by having a background, but more importantly, if you did have a background, so for example, I'm already ruining part of the piece, but that's okay. Where is it? There's no highlight on your piece. Okay, so when I say highlight, there's no key areas that's bright, that kind of leads the eye. So you want to do the same here as well. You want to start leading the eye a little bit. Create that depth. Okay, see that? How different that is the minute you start adding a little bit of contrast and depth to things. Obviously, you would make it a bit different if needed. And don't be afraid with like more shadow if needed for your piece. So that means maybe make this a bit more darker. Maybe this a bit darker. Maybe this should be even more darker. Maybe this should be darker. I'm being a little bit lazy. And when I say lazy, it's because I'm not going in here and changing all the shadows, because that will go quicker. Okay, so you want to start playing around with these things. That's basically my point. And then you would add some blue light and kind of make it work like that. Make sense? Hopefully it makes sense. Let me just look at your piece from another point of view. You can see it's again pretty flat here as well. If we use the exaggerated version, you can see again there's contrast. There's a leading eye, right? So these are the things I want you guys to kind of understand and put into practice. Okay. Background eraser. Well, Maggie, you should be on the stream. You want me to invite you into the stream? You can do it for me. Okay. You seem to be good at this kind of stuff. Okay. Make sense? Makes sense, right? You understand? Ramos, Maggie, early gamer. Ramos number 2. Okay, we're good? Cool. Makes sense, right? That shouldn't be too complicated, I think, right? Right. Okay. Makes sense, right? Okay, cool. Okay. So that's basically that. It's the same thing here, really. So on this stuff, what I would be focused, what I pay attention to is the reflection on the ground and the reflection on the top. I also pay attention to the fact this color is not the correct color. This color would not happen for this type of lighting, realistically speaking. Okay. So again, I'm teaching you stuff in my course. If you guys want to learn more, do consider investing and helping me. I have a course and mentorship as well. It teaches you even more advanced things, the fundamentals, incorrect materials, EV, curves, lighting, painting, art fundamental, how to use fog. There's some testimonials. So please, you should consider that. There's a lot of content that is more advanced and will go into detail. But this blue color should not be happening at all, because when you have the Kelvin scale of color temperature, you guys notice the level of detail I go when I go. That's not the Kelvin temperature. It's a bit. I don't need a video. I just want a freaking image. Freaking image. Let's do this one. This is a terrible one. I wanted this one. Can I use this one? Okay. Is that an image? By the way, you're still looking at my screen, right? Okay, cool. So this is so use the Kelvin temperature for this. Don't pick a color. And then you change the emissive afterwards, but the emissive would actually be more white. Okay? The emissive will be more white when you do these kind of things. And again, actually, I love teaching people, in case you don't know, and I love doing this, so I'm just gonna keep giving you more help here. Did I actually already add that in somewhere? Yeah, I did actually. Okay, cool. Maybe I should have done another piece. Let's do one more for you, okay? Because let's pretend I know my way around Photoshop, guys. Okay. Where is it? Is it color balance I want? Probably. Yeah. So if you're gonna go for blue, you want to make sure that it's kind of obvious that there's blue. Let's say I wanted to keep this over stylized color. Okay, I would push it like this. You see the difference? So why am I saying this? Again, color is a huge part of when we do any kind of work. So you guys are doing it, environment artists, it doesn't matter. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. Okay, this is super important to understand this when you do any kind of work. The color has to match. So what is happening with my eyes here? And I explain it to you now. My eye, which is also a painter's eye, obviously lighting artist eye has too. I've also been a 3D artist before, just so you guys know. I've been a level designer too. So just because I'm doing lighting now doesn't mean I haven't any clue of what you guys are doing at the moment. I just doesn't know substance designer and substance painter though. I don't know that. This is a warm color here. Okay. This is a white color. This is a super blue color. There's inconsistency in the eye. Okay. Inconsistency. We want to avoid the inconsistency, even if there's a reason there's a warm color. I like the idea. I do. I understand it, but it's right next to your light source. Okay. Would it make more sense to do it somewhere else? Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no reason you can't do it, but I would probably go for a warmer color, probably somewhere here. Okay. Don't you just love my my drawing skills on Photoshop? Isn't there a way to make this easier? Probably that works. Okay, so you will be adding more subtle warm light coming in somewhere here, right? That's the difference. So you could do that. I'm not saying it would be better because obviously I'm doing things on the spot and whatnot. Can I? Okay, but is it the right choice? Maybe, maybe not. But you can obviously see there's a difference. It's less disturbing if it comes from one side. If I were doing this piece, I would probably not delete it like this. By the way, did I remember to share the screen? Okay. Thank you. Let me just make sure I actually share the right screen. You guys have to tell me when I forget. Okay, now we're going. Okay, so when you look at these pieces, the color, the blue pieces, I was saying this one is warm, this one is bright, and this one is kind of blue. Okay. So you have to make sure that there's some consistency in what you're doing. That means it's more suitable to have a warmer color somewhere else. Okay. Somewhere else it has warmer color. That's fine. It could technically have some warm color here if you wanted to, right? I'm obviously overdoing it on purpose just because I can. Okay. That's fine. It could have something coming on this side. It's less disruptive because it's away from the cold light. If I were to do it though, I would try different. First of all, I would have tried different camera angle, because what's happening here is you have this getting cut out, and there's a cutout here, and these are things we want to avoid. And you have it in the other piece as well, um, where you have a camera angle. And let me just go grab the image. It's technically, arguably, I think it's this one, right? It's the same one here. You're cutting the image, and then it's empty out there. So it's empty, but there's warm color coming in. To me, it doesn't make sense. And there's a warm color at the bottom, but the light is blue. So that's what I was saying about the color balance. Okay, here, the color balance. If you work on the color balance, which is picking a very clear color palette, you can see there's a huge difference. Okay, huge difference. And then once you do that, isn't it amazing what we can explain just with using your 2D image? I'm not even in Unreal. So what I will probably do, again, you don't be afraid to. You guys are super afraid of kind of pushing. This is your focal piece, I'm assuming, because there wouldn't be any reason to do anything else. Don't be afraid to kind of push it. You know, push it, push it, push the story, guys. Come on. Obviously, you would balance it out here as well. You would have like a gradient going. Maybe we would have some fun over here. La la la. That's too much, you know. And maybe you can keep it dark there, but you could also, have something if you wanted to. Does that make sense, people? I obviously I would change the blue again. It wouldn't be this blue. Normally, it would be more white, because when the light gets brighter, it's you don't actually see that it's blue or that blue, that emission material. And then you could kind of make it more spooky if you wanted to. Ooh, spooky, 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 spooky. I'm just overdoing everything now just to prove a point. Okay, blah 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 blah. When I do this with my students, it takes ages too. But I don't actually want the shadow. I just want a little bit. Actually, it wants me to do the shadow apparently. Okay. And then you can kind of make this darker if you want to. You can make this a bit darker, this a bit darker, this a bit darker. You see the difference? Come on, guys. It's obvious, right? Come on. Come on. What's better? This or this? I understand people have preference, but I would have done this. Okay? Boom, boom. What do you think is clearer? If anyone actually picks the other one, we're gonna have a talk, a serious talk about your autistic eye. See this? See this? Clear focal. Okay? I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna see if you're voting for this. Come on. Vote. Come on. Let me know your opinion. Is this? This is obvious, right? Hopefully you guys understand the difference. You guys need to talk to me. Stop being so quiet. I'm gonna check the Discord. Where did you post it? Showcase any work. Cool. Which one are you anyway? There's like Instagram and then there's a R station. Are you Intra or Fares or what the? I see let me just let people know that they should be watching the YouTube, because I don't want to do it on Discord. We are on YouTube, in case you don't know, because my screen died. Okay, cool. Make sense? Intra. Okay. It looks great, Maggie says. Well, I'm glad someone appreciates my skills. Finally, some appreciation. I work so hard. If that was useful, you should head over to courses.lightingbot.com and consider some of the courses and mentorship. You'll be able to learn all of these things: fundamental of lighting, incorrect materials, exposure, EV, how to use volumetric, how to deal with light bidding, how to do post-process grading, emissive, how to do fill light and extra lighting, different times of day, how you do it differently for each day using EV, how to go away from the EV and technical lighting to do artistic lighting, understanding curves, analyzing painting, how it affects your art and lighting, how to train your eye and how to learn from painting, candle principle, Purkinje effect, game optimization, the danger of fog that a lot of people don't understand, and lots more. Again, we have had people go through the course and get work. We have some testimonial you can check. A little bit about myself, my co-author Sandra, who has been going through the content and improving the content as well. He's a technical lighting artist, so more technical than myself. And you can check all the content that's being added on a regular basis, fundamental stuff, advanced stuff, technical stuff, and we're still adding new content because when students join, they have an ability to ask for some learning. Basically, you can also upgrade to monthly mentorship. You get some extra stuff for discount price, and you have me and other mentors. If you upgrade to 5 months, you can have an opportunity to get some career roadmaps or different offers. If you want a very specific offer, just talk to me and I'll schedule something specific for you as well. Okay, a great opportunity to learn.